The movie opens with a protest where factory workers were seen demonstrating against the factory they worked at. As the security and workers faced each other, a rock was thrown at a security guard by someone from the workers' group, which caused the situation to erupt into chaos. A fight broke out between the workers and the security guards. As the fight continued, a young boy named Senkaka watched from the sidelines. The protesters were then told that the people in the factory were willing to listen to them and that they could send in their 3 main representatives. However, the factory stipulated that all the other workers would have to leave. After some arguing, the workers decided to send their leader to talk, and everyone else would leave immediately. One of the main workers went home, and the same boy, Senkaka, who had been watching the fight, was seen again. Senkaka's father, who was the leader of the workers, arrived home. Senkaka asked him if it was necessary for them to create all the chaos. His father told him it was necessary because the factory did not pay them what they were due. On top of that, the work was brutal, and they were not even given basic human rights. So the protest was very much necessary. He told his son that he was raising his voice for the people who were being mistreated because when you are not even able to do that, it means you are dead inside. After giving this advice, he left. That night, Senkaka's mother told him to close the window as the weather outside was really bad. Senkaka told his mother that there was heavy lightning outside, but she told him not to worry because he was safe. Just as the boy closed the window, the lightning struck again and the clouds thundered. Senkaka got a little scared and ran away from the window. The next day, when Senkaka woke up, his mother told him that his father had gone to the factory because the 2 workers who went inside the factory were still not back. His mother then said that she should also go to those workers' houses to check on their families, because God knows how they are coping with it. On the other hand, Senkaka's father gathered all the workers and made his way to the factory, and Senkaka and his mother got ready to go to the missing workers' houses. When they got to one of the men's houses, Senkaka's mother talked to the man's wife and tried to console her, saying that she had heard her husband had not been home since last night. But as she was talking, she saw that the supposedly missing man was already inside his house. She quickly understood that something was wrong and started running towards the factory to stop her husband, as she had a feeling something bad was going to happen to him. However, she got into an accident and broke her legs. She then asked Senkaka to run towards the factory and warn his father that things were not as they seemed. By the time the little Senkaka got to the factory, a fight had already started between the security guards and the workers. Amidst all the chaos, one of the workers stabbed Senkaka's father, and he died on the spot. It turned out that only Senkaka's father was the true leader who wanted good for all the workers, and most of the other workers were nothing but traitors. Senkaka was devastated when he saw his father's dead body. He picked up a shield and shouted in anger. As he did that, lightning came out of him, and he went unconscious. After that, one day the boy's mother told him that she was going to go to the city to find some work. She told Senkaka that she would be back soon and asked him to stay home until she returned. It had been a year since his father's tragic demise. Days went by, and it had been 7 days since his mother had left, and she was still not back. Senkaka stayed home, waiting for his mother to come back. Senkaka finally went out of the house and came across a group of bullies. They cornered the little boy and started beating him up. This was when a boy named Awang appeared and saved him from the bullies. Awang was also a homeless boy, just like Senkaka. Awang then asked him why the other boys were beating him up, and little Senkaka told him that he had saved a boy from them, but then they had started chasing him. Awang then told the boy that if he wanted to survive as a homeless boy, he was going to have to stop meddling in other people's business. As they spent some time together, Awang started training the boy so he could defend himself against the bullies. The 2 boys, Senkaka and Awang, then planned to leave so they could get away from the bullies. They decided to freight hop and travel to a safe haven in Tangara, but only Awang was able to jump onto the train. As an adult, Senkaka worked as a guard and a mechanic in a newspaper printing factory. He had changed a lot and no longer had a problem with bullies. However, despite being a grown man, he was still scared of lightning and thunder. We then learned that most of Indonesia's corrupt legislature was controlled by a crime boss named Pengkor. He commanded an army of orphans who were raised as assassins. We then learned about Pengkor's background. When he was a little boy, his mother and father were burned alive, but Pengkor managed to escape. After that, his uncle was the one who left him at an orphanage. Pengkor's criminal life began there. He started to form a group of criminal-minded boys, and together they killed the people who took care of the house. Pengkor was the leader of their group. That team was now a group of assassins, and they still worked for Pancor. Pancor plotted to poison the rice supplies with a drug that made the fetuses of pregnant women immoral. Many people then demanded that the legislature release an untested antidote to the public, which had been formulated by an unknown pharmaceutical company. On the other hand, Senkaka was at his apartment when some thugs arrived and started harassing a girl named Woolan, who was also his neighbor. Senkaka told the thugs to leave her alone, but of course they did not, and attacked him. Senkaka went on to beat up everyone, and they left. However, this did not turn out to be a good idea, because those same thugs showed up with the rest of their gang and cornered Senkaka. They beat him up badly, and when they felt like the boy was dead, they threw him off a rooftop. When he was lying lifeless on the road, it started to rain, and the lightning and thunder were there again. This time, however, his body started to consume the lightning waves, and his wounds started to heal. As he did that, Woolan went on to make a team of her own to face the bad people in her area. Senkaka also got there, and just as he was talking to the girl, the people who had thrown him from the rooftop got there. When they saw that he was still alive, they were shocked but still went on to attack him with some deadly weapons. It turned out that Senkaka now had superpowers. He fended off their attacks with ease by the gift of lightning that had been given to him, and went on to finish off his opponents in the blink of an eye. Everyone who had been watching this fight was shocked to their core. They started to think that Senkaka was their savior. The people in the market requested him to help out, as it was a bad time for them because the crime in the city had been increasing, and the people of the market were scared of the thugs. Senkaka, however, remembered what his childhood friend had once told him. He had advised him to always mind his own business and never get into anyone's affairs. Senkaka left, but after a while, the whole market was set on fire. The people in the market wailed and cried, but there was no one to save or help them. Senkaka saw that and felt bad for not agreeing to help the people in the market. Now they had lost everything. Woolan approached him, clearly upset. She told him that people who did not stand up for those who were being victimized had become dead inside. She told him that he was nothing but a useless body that was still moving around. The boy remembered that this was exactly what his father had taught him when he was a little boy, and his own father had been killed because he had stood up against the wrong young people and sided with those who were being victimized. From that day on, Senkaka decided that he was going to help others. The people there started looking up to him as a powerful figure, and they started fighting off the thugs. During one of the fights, a thug took some blood from Senkaka's body and ran away. The scene then changed to a dark place where one of Pancor's men got something out of a hole in the ground and expressed to his people that everyone was waiting for the package he was holding in his hands. Senkaka, on the other hand, went on to learn to control his superpowers. He did it with the help of Woolan, her little brother, and some other people from the market. They even went on to make a costume for him, and with that, Senkaka started fighting the thugs, including the violinist Adi Sulaiman, who was part of Pancor's nationwide network of orphan agents. It was revealed that Sulaiman was the one who had taken part in the heinous act of setting the whole market on fire. Senkaka went on to fight Sulaiman, but Sulaiman was no match for him and died during the fight. On the other hand, all the women who were pregnant at the time started getting sick. It turned out that they had been drugged, and it was all part of a huge plan where they wanted the future kids to have no emotions or sense of right or wrong. A big debate went on between the two parties of the country, and this debate split the legislature into two factions. One was led by legislator Ridwan Bari and his colleagues, who created a bill to distribute it, and the other was controlled by Pancor and his allies, who opposed it. After that, Ridwan Bari was attacked by Pancor's men, who were there to put an end to him. To his good luck, Senkaka got there in time, and Ridwan told him that these people were sent to kill him by Pancor. Ridwan then asked Senkaka if he was going to help him with his mission, but Senkaka did not give any answer and got out of there. The antidote was finalized by the government and was allowed to be supplied in the market. Senkaka was now relieved that the matter had been resolved without any bloodshed and that things would go back to normal. Senkaka then decided that he was going to leave the city. This was when the actual truth came out. Ridwan went on to discover that the poison was non-lethal, and it was the antidote that was poisonous, with the pharmaceutical company revealed to be owned by Pancor's shell company. Ridwan now had no choice but to contact Senkaka right away. He called him and told him everything that had been going on, and he asked Senkaka to help him get out of this. After Ridwan asked Senkaka to stop the distribution, it caused Pancor and the team to attack Senkaka, and Pancor also seized a gun, Woolan, and Teddy. The fight went on for a long time, but Senkaka was too powerful and skillful now. He went on to put an end to all of the attackers without making much of an effort. During the fight, his friend Awang died, And after that, in the meantime, Ridwan also got there and went on to kill Pankor. Ridwan told Sankaka that one of the vans was on the way to distribute the poison already and told him that only he could stop it. Sankaka caught up with the distribution convoy and tried to stop them. When he was just about to lash at the van, the driver shot him and he got injured. However, a woman appeared out of nowhere, and thanks to the help of that mysterious woman, he succeeded and used his power to break all the antidote bottles. At a museum, Pankor's partner, Gazul, broke down one of the walls to reveal an ancient tomb buried inside. Using Sankaka's blood, which he had secretly and unwillingly extracted, he broke the seal of a container containing an old head. He then combined the body and the head, resurrecting Kiwilawuk, a powerful medieval warrior, and told him of Sankaka's arrival, calling him Gundala, which actually means thunder. Kiwilawuk ordered Gazul to gather his army because a great war was coming. This was where the movie ended. So, what did you think of the movie? Leave it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you in the next video.